What's up, guys? It is early here, and this is Max bringing you the GPP lowdown on April 28th split slate. We have 4 games in the morning and 4 games at night. Before we get to that, though, let's talk about yesterday. We crushed it again with Red Sox, Colorado, Stacks. They had me sweating pretty late. We didn't win anything big, but, any day you can stay afloat in GPPs is a good day. Eventually, keep putting your lineups out there and you'll hit the big one. So let's get to the April 28th slate. So the pitching for the early slate, which starts at 1 p.m., is pretty easy. Just play Arrieta. I know he's going to be super highly owned, but the guy's given up like 7 earned runs in the last 25 starts, and he's facing the Brewers at home with the wind blowing in. So I think that is good. Just plug him in. He's going to be like 90% owned, but you'll be able to take advantage of those 10% of the people that don't own him. The other 2 guys in the early slate that are going to be popular, I think, are Rourke and Nola. They're facing each other. Rourke struck out 15 guys in his last start, so no doubt all the box score watchers are going to want to plug him in there and just forget about it. I think if he's highly touted today also, we can stack against him with some Philly bats. They're, like pesky hitters that get some singles in there, then hit the occasional bomb and put up 3 or 4 runs on you, which is not bad for an early slate. I like Nola, actually, a little bit better. I think he'll be lower owned. He's got a good K per 9 of 8.547, which is the 3rd best on the slate. So I think Nola makes for a good SP2 on today's slate. Let's see what else. The other guys in order of least sucky to most sucky are Sanchez, Bassett, Jungmann, Nicasio, and Chatwood. In all honesty, I don't think you should play any of them, but if you want to, I think Nicasio is probably your best bet. I mean, I know he's in Coors, but you've got the revenge game narrative, which is awesome. Second of all, it's a 4-game slate. No one's going to have him. He's insanely cheap, and he's got a 10.5 K per 9. So, if he gets you like 5 innings, 6 strikeouts, 3 runs, that's not at all bad at his price. So the pitching for the late slate, I just wanted to let you guys know to watch the weather today. There's supposed to be rain in a couple places, so always just pay attention to the weather. It's pretty important, I think. So in the late slate, you have another stud going, kind of like an Arrieta type with Fernandez. I like him also quite a bit. I think, people who look at the box scores will see that he only put up like 9 points last start against the Giants, but Giants made great contact. Can't really expect for pitchers against them to do that well in the strikeout department. I think he can do much better today. He's going to be expensive. He's going to be highly owned, but I think he's your best bet for a solid start and a good point output. Let's see. The other 2 guys that will be popular are Maeda and Buchholz. Buchholz is facing the vaunted Braves offense. I say vaunted very sarcastically because they are not good. If you played Steven Wright yesterday, good for you. I recommended him and had him in a bunch of lineups, and he did predictably awesome against them. I think Buchholz, don't watch that game because he's going to be very frustrating to watch, but he should do all right. I think he's going to be very serviceable for his price. Maeda is 2K more than him and will be more popular than him, I think. I think maybe a good way to go would be stack Maeda and Fernandez. Maybe people won't do that just because they're facing each other. Either way, I think those 3 are probably your most viable starters for the late slate. Let's see what else. Again, from least sucky to most sucky are Waka, Chacin, De La Rosa, Danks, and Wilson. It's a 4-game slate. I think you can pretty much play anyone. There's merit for, ownership things. but I would just stick with the first three guys I mentioned and, be contrarian, but don't be stupid is the whole analogy I want to impart on you here. Okay, so on to the stacks. The early stacks I would go with are Detroit, Chicago, Cubs, Pittsburgh Athletics, and Colorado. It's a 4-game slate, so you can stack pretty much anybody. I mean, within reason. Don't stack the Brewers or anything. But I think the Philly stack that I was mentioning earlier against Rourke could do well. The lefty Philly guys have some power and speed combinations. You could play those guys. I like Detroit. I think they're breaking out of their early season slump. Bassett Hound is not anybody to be very afraid of, and they're hitting some home runs lately, which is nice for your stacks. Let's see who else. Sanchez is viable. I don't think he's going to give up too many runs, but if you pick and choose with some lefties on Oakland, I don't think you'll do too poorly. He struggles against lefties, and you got guys like Reddick, Vogt, Coughlin, and Lowry there, who I think are viable. I think Coors guys will be very highly owned. They haven't been in the last couple of weeks, which I think is weird, but it's a 4-game slate, and we were dealing with really large slates. So I think they will probably be over-owned. I would look at the lineups coming out and seeing who the value guys are, because those guys actually tend to be the lowest owned. Like I had Hundley and Rayburn yesterday at less than 10% ownership, which I was very surprised about. Let's see. The late stacks I would go with are the Orioles, Red Sox, Zona and the Cardinals, like the last 2 days, and the White Sox. The Cardinals were under-owned yesterday, but I really like the upside of their lefty bats and some righty guys too. Moss, Carpenter, Piscotty, I think are very viable against De La Rosa tonight. You have the Red Sox guys. Ortiz, Shaw is still way too cheap on DraftKings. I think his price needs to definitely go up, but I mean his ownership has not been high lately, so I shouldn't be complaining. Ortiz was only like 10% owned last night too, which was just crazy, I think. Orioles stack is very much in play against John Danks. He's very friendly to righty bats, giving up home runs. And I think the reverse isn't bad either against Tyler Wilson, who hasn't been quite blown up yet, but I think that time is quickly approaching. So that's all for me today, guys. If it seems like I recommended almost everybody, it's because I did. There are 2 split 4-game slates. It's not very many options to choose from, but like I said earlier, I think just watch who's being touted out of the pitchers, guys that aren't very good and usually would not be on your radars, and just target against them. You'll be able to move up the leaderboards quickly if they get blown up. There's also some merit to putting chalk into those lineups that have those contrarian stacks to kind of get the best of both worlds. Anyway, Max here signing out. I'll be in the chat room all day, so come and talk with some really smart people and me. So till tomorrow, see you guys.